Hello and welcome back to the Lapdown Podcast. It's been a couple of weeks. We had our own mini autumn break. Dan has done his own triple header around, many different countries. But we're now back because racing is back. We're back. There's stuff to talk about. Dan Jads is with me. Dan, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm good. I'm just having a bit of a short break at home, and then I go away again. So, my autumn break is extended.
Lovely.
But I'm doing pretty well. One thing I was just sat here and I was just thinking about off the top of my head. You know what I think would be quite nice? Not necessarily for other people, but I'd quite like a Lapdown t-shirt or a Lapdown hat.
Oh,
I don't necessarily think other people have to have them, but I just feel like that could be quite nice. A nice little t-shirt with a nice little kind of logo here or something, and we
chest.
You never know. One day,
Maybe.
we might sell one. Pop-up
Or
shops
one day
in Argentina.
Now, here we go. Or one day maybe we could be on the Kindle on the side of the McLaren, just briefly.
Ooh,
like your face on the left side of the Halo and my face on the right. But we can only pay for 3 frames of a lap at some point. So it's going to flick on and then flick off again. But the real fans will see it. It's a podcast. This is an audio medium, so this is not really particularly helpful for people at home. But for a bloke that's just spent 2.5 weeks in the Caribbean, you're whiter than before you left. And
I was working.
Yes, you were
very
working
hard.
Outside.
No, a lot of it was inside, to be fair. A lot of it was inside. The trip to Sri Lanka, hopefully, with any luck, I might have seen some sunshine. But it was
New
a great
livery
trip.
Dan when he comes back.
It's a special edition. It was a great trip.
Did you lock in a Caribbean Grand Prix location?
I didn't, but I feel as though... Do you know what? I kind of feel like if we're going to end up in... Where were they talking about? Niger or Chad or something like
Rwanda,
that?
I think, is keen on it as a Grand Prix.
I kind of feel like the roads in Trinidad probably would be okay for it. They're pretty bad. But...
Or, we could stop racing on street circuits and actually build a circuit somewhere. Ooh. There must be some rainforest that we can knock over in
There is a lot of rainforest,
Caribbean
to be
somewhere.
fair. But they do have nice parrots and toucans and monkeys and things that live in there.
Well, they could do a parrot-shaped trophy.
Yes. Presented by a monkey.
Here we go. We're on it. We're on it now.
Fantastic.
Have you seen the trophy for the Grand Prix this weekend?
No, but what I would like to imagine I'd like to imagine it's a platinum cowboy hat on the back of a Mustang horse with 2 Smith & Wesson pistols up on either side.
Okay. I see your idea, and I raise you sort of a knockoff Lego Disney copyright infringing polished helmet standing on a tyre. That's what I offered to you in return.
What's the Grand Prix sponsored by then to warrant having?
It's a Pirelli trophy. It's a Pirelli designed trophy.
Oh, brilliant! I mean, they can barely make a tyre, so let's give them free reign on a trophy.
It's a special Heru trophy, which resemble the heroes. The drivers are sitting. Sorry, what is this sentence? The figure resembles the heroes. The drivers are sitting in the cockpit driving the cars. That's not a sentence. I think a hero is an established thing. They look like garbage. They look like terrible Temu toys is what they look like. And it's just... Why can we not just have nice trophies for these Grand Prix? This year has been a year of stinkers.
But we're going to Texas. Make it...
Yes.
Make it Texas.
This ain't Texas. I'll tell you that right now.
Beyonce or one of those other... It was that one, wasn't it? That did
she was talking specifically about the US Grand Prix trophies.
Yeah.
Because, I mean... They look like kids' toys.
Yeah, I mean, there's a great chance she could be there waving the checkered flag.
Yeah, really limply, like Steve Apple did.
Almost to the point that you know that she's been paid to be there.
Yeah. Why do we need to go so silly on the trophies all the time? I think they forget that they have to. They don't have to. They want to keep these things and proudly display them, right?
Yeah.
These are mementos, these are markers that you've won a Grand Prix. Very few people get to do that, and you get given this horrible plastic looking shiny Disney helmet Lego thing. It infringes, I think, 5 or 6 copyrights, this one, and there's a good chance that it's going to get censored on the broadcast, and it's going to be a DMCA live on Sky.
I'd like to get taken out. I'd go as far as to pay to see that, but I don't know. It goes. I think it kind of circles back around to that whole kind of tradition thing. is that I don't necessarily think there's anything wrong with just being a bit traditional with these things. And if this is what the trophy, yes, okay, fine, it might need a redesign here and there to kind of update itself with the modern times and things, and I get that. But the fact that it changes each year, and I guess ultimately for Formula One, it's just something else for them to sell. They've sold that package to Pirelli, haven't they? Or they've kind of worked it into that kind of contract that they've got with them with the tyres and or however that's worked. So they've gained from it financially. And I'm sure as much as people have liked to pat each other on the back about what nice of a job they did with those Robbie Williams one in Zandvoort, there's probably some money being exchanged there as well. But yeah, oh well, trophies. We're not going to win one, so I suspect we don't need to worry.
Good news, though. The winner gets
news.
A hat. As they often do, they get the Pirelli hat, which is nice. And the Pirelli hat is usually a relatively understated black baseball cap, isn't it? With a little bit of the gold leafy thing. Not this week. This week, it's denim. It's a denim hat. That's what you get for winning. Cap. Denim baseball cap. It says Pirelli on the front. It's got the leafy things. Someone will tell me in the comments what the name of them is.
VCAB of bollocks this, haven't they?
Yes. Imagine that. You could have had a denim-clad, double denim Danny Rick taking a denim cap on the podium in P17 at Austin.
In a denim-liveried V-Carb Formula 1 car.
Yes. There it is. We've locked it. And yet, now we don't have that.
Whatever intern didn't look at the calendar properly, I hope they've been sacked.
It's poor. It's probably the same intern that designed the calendar.
And
is what I would say. Sack them all. Sack them all. It's the sprint weekend, Dan. That's exciting.
Woo. I love sprints.
Listen to how excited he is about the sprints.
Do you know? It's one of those things that I still don't think it's actually ingrained in many people's minds that these things actually happen until it gets to the Saturday, and you suddenly turn the TV on. You go, oh, sprint. Oh, nice.
Why is the qualifying timing tower up there? Oh God, it's a sprint weekend.
Exactly. But then I don't think Formula One helps itself by the fact they don't just do this every weekend.
Oh, okay. So you'd rather either sprint all the time or walk. They're your options.
Sprint or marathon, because I still don't think the Sunday feature is much of a walk.
Well, no, but FPs are a walk, aren't they?
Yeah, they
are a walk.
No, I think, honestly, I'm in the camp of like sprint every time.
Do it or don't do it.
Yeah, exactly. Just
get on with it.
Would
you rather do it or would you rather don't do it?
I'm okay with doing it.
Fine.
I'm okay with doing it.
I'll back you. I've said it before so many times in this pod that it's not so much the sprint element that I like, it's the lack of FP element that I like.
Yeah.
So if the way we get to less FP is by adding an S, then I'll take an S and an SQ.
And I think probably this season in particular would have been the perfect time to have had a sprint every weekend, with the way that it's panned out and the fact that kind of people are competitive and they can do overtakings and things like that. Whereas years gone by, if you'd have had like extra races, that would have fallen flat on its arse because you would have gone, and Max Verstappen's won by another 15 seconds.
Well, in that way, next year might be... They're not going to do it. We'll say that up front. We're hypothesizing here about something that's not going to happen. But next year wouldn't actually then be a bad time to trial that, because in theory, it's the last year of the stable regs. The field is already really close, and we've already got genuinely 4 constructors fighting every weekend for top steps that... Actually, now would be a great time, and then we can throw it all out the window again for 26 and go from there. But
it's a free hit, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Absolutely, it is.
Do it and see what happens.
I also think this weekend is specifically quite a decent time for a sprint because we've been starved of racing for 4 weeks. So now is a good time, and it would have been probably quite nice to do it our summer break as well. But hey, you've had no racing. Here's all the racing now. Have it all back again.
Overdose on racing.
Yeah, overdose on racing. It's an interesting one for me, timing-wise as well, for Liam Lawson, because he's a professional. He will have simmed this track so much and simmed the car, and we've seen before that he just drops into cars and he's fine. He's a very talented driver. But he now gets 1 FP session to get back up to speed in Formula One, which I dare say, if he could have chosen, he would have had 3 FP sessions to roll into a track. Probably a track that's a little bit less technical than Kota as well, because those S's at the start are a bastard. So that's a little bit... I feel like there's a lot of pressure on Liam. With the situation about how he's come in, there's now probably elevated expectation because every DR3 stand is going to be on him like a hawk. If he doesn't, smash you, they're going to put Danny Rick back in the car. Yeah. All the cards feel like they're against Liam Lawson, and that's why I think he'll finish P4.
Can you show any working there, or
nope?
No, none at all. I think he'll be fine. I do genuinely think he'll be okay. I don't think he'll give a toss as to what any kind of middle-aged man or 17-year-old girl on Twitter decides to say about him, or whether Daniel Ricciardo,
one or the other.
Well,
and usually column A is trying to talk to column B.
Pretty much, yeah. It's a conflicting environment. But anyway, I don't think he'll be bothered about that. I think he obviously knows that he's been backed by Red Bull for the rest of the season, and the performance won't really matter this weekend for him personally. But then with taking all of that in mind, the bar in that VCARB is pretty low. Like, it's not going to have to be the driver of the century to beat Yuki Tsunoda. And equally, it's not going to have to be the driver of the century to have matched or bettered what Daniel Ricciardo would have done in that car anyway. So it's not like he's coming in. He's not going to do a Bearman in Saudi, is he? And he's not going to go, right, you're in a race-winning car here. You've got a great chance here. Oh, my God, I'm panicking. I'm shaking. I'm in the wall. What have I done? If similar to the Colapinto thing, if he pootles around at the back, which he won't for the rest of the season, doesn't get into any trouble, people they're going to get to the end of the season and Red Bull are going to go, well done, Liam. Do you fancy the keys again next year?
Yeah, 100%. And so, I genuinely think, and we'll probably talk a little bit later about some of the driver market movements and stuff, because there is still a couple of cards to fall into place.
Yep.
I genuinely don't think I think he is almost probably a 50-50 with Checo to drive at Red Bull next year, because Christian keeps coming out and keeps... As soon as we think that Checo can just breathe for a minute, Christian comes in and sucks all the oxygen out of that room briefly and then just trickles a little bit back in. I think there is a genuine chance, I think, if Checo doesn't close that gap up and Lawson doesn't put it in the wall, that they just go, you know what, sod it. Yeah. Stick him in the big boy team and we'll just go and pick Hadjar or a 9-year-old or someone to put in the AlphaTauri next year, because what have they got to lose? They can't go any further back than where Checo is. No,
it's I mean, if history says anything, it's a career-ending move for somebody that goes and sits in that Red Bull number 2 car, because nobody's gone in there and done well. Yeah, I have seen the rumours that Hadjar would be the next kind of cab off the rank, so to speak, to go and get one of the drives. And if Liam Lawson did that, or it would be a big step up for Lawson, Tsunoda, or Hadjar to go and sit in that number 2 Red Bull car, which, I mean, potentially could lead Christian and Helmut to kind of go with their tails between their legs back to an Australian with experience and kind of say, could you get us through the end of this season? Because I don't think. I mean, I haven't really watched enough F2 to convince myself that Hadjar is going to be the next big thing. I don't know. I couldn't sit here and say with any certain. I think I've seen enough of Yuki Tsunoda to know that probably at the top of his game where he is at the moment.
Yeah,
I don't think he's going to take that next step up.
Isn't he?
Yeah.
He's kind of cute. He's kind of funny. He can drive a car pretty well.
And in equal measure, if Liam Lawson was the next Max Verstappen, there's no way they would have waited till 24 years old or whatever he is, given him a drive here, a drive there, a drive there, drive somewhere else, to then suddenly go, you're the next thing for us. So I don't if Hadjar's the guy, he could well be, and I can't sit here with any confidence say he is or isn't, but I don't think the other two are going to be the ones that are going to go into that second seat in Red Bull and go, okay, yeah, let's go toe-to-toe with Max, because I think if they were, they'd have been there already.
Yep. No, I can't argue. I think it makes a lot of sense. I think Colapinto for me is making that driver market really confusing, or is confusing Kick perhaps, and maybe not the wider driver market. I think there's a genuine chance that Colapinto is in line for that last kick seat, or second kick seat now, for next year. And I don't think he was in anyone's plans in that team. And then I think he came in and he drove the arse off it, and now they're going, oh, well, actually... Ooh, yeah, he'd be good. We'd like him. What I will say, why are we still looking at Mick Schumacher? I'm sorry, he seems like a lovely bloke, right? And I would like to go for a beer with him, and I'm sure he's great fun, right? Yeah. He's had a go. He caused a lot of damage. You want that quick and causing a lot of damage. He wasn't going P4 or wall. He was going P18 or wall. And admittedly, he didn't have the car underneath him. But... why are we looking to Mick Schumacher as apparently a top option for Kick when you've got your Colapintos, you've got Porsche, you've got a load of, junior F2 drivers, or Valtteri Bottas, by the way, quite a good driver.
Zhou, they
why
could stick
are we
with
looking
Zhou
back at Mick? Yeah,
I think all the while that he has his surname, I think he's always going to be in those in those conversations. That carries. I know it's slightly before your time, but that Schumacher brand carries quite a bit of weight, and I would imagine quite a bit of funding to come with it as well from various German companies that would like to see a Schumacher back on the Formula One grid. So for nostalgia purposes, I completely understand it. The Colapinto thing is interesting. I think on ability, yes. I don't know the exact details of his Williams contract, whether he's still contracted past the end of 2024, which I suspect he probably is.
Certainly now.
Yeah, and I would have thought he would just slot into kind of reserve driver for Williams till the end of 25, and then they'll have an idea of what they're going to do or what Sainz is going to do with Audi or Porsche, whichever one of those two teams or brands that's going to come into the sport. Would Williams let Colapinto go to what is, within due respect, a rival on loan? Possibly. Could stake kicksauber.com buy Colapinto out of the contract? Probably.
Yeah.
He's definitely a conversation piece. I don't know. I don't see Zhou continuing. I'm not convinced unless he brings huge amounts of cash from the China Communist Party. Then you can kind of see, there's a bit of logic to go here. Could it be Bottas? I think Bottas kind of turns around and says, "I want to, I don't want to." I think he's in that kind of position at the moment. So
you think almost like not the contract's on the table, but you think if he goes, "I'm really keen to race next year,"
I think so.
They're taking him option one.
Yeah, I think next year becomes really difficult as well because it's a nothing year. Then they're not going to develop.
They're a nothing team, Dan.
Well, they are. Yeah, they are as well. But like, they're not going to develop a car over the winter and suddenly kind of go, "Oh, we can score points now." Whereas between 25 and 26, and I'm not saying they will, but they could stumble across something and go, "Oh, okay, well, we're 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 now, rather than 16, 17, 18, 19, 20," and that could happen. Is Bottas interested in another year, kind of farting around at the back? Probably not. But yeah, I don't really think it matters who sits in the car, to be honest with you, because I think the car is dog turd bad.
Yeah.
Along with the team and the pit stops and the livery and the branding and the name.
And the company that's behind it. There's a whole host going on.
Pretty much all of it, yeah. A cascade of dog turds.
Yep. So many. So many. Right, let's talk paint, shall we? Because we've got paint this weekend.
My favourite topic.
Which is exciting.
I love paint.
We've got 3 lots of paint to talk about.
We do.
Actually, pre-paint, colour in general.
Yes.
Why is every F1 team obsessed with the colour orange all of a sudden?
Because
I don't understand it. Well, evidently. They're trying to piggyback off McLaren.
Yeah. Everything was blue when Red Bull was winning.
You've got Williams have released a special edition Austin cap, which genuinely might be last year's McLaren stock, that they've just peeled the little arrow thing off of it and put maybe that's why the Williams logo is so big on it, because it's covering the previous McLaren
just another
logo.
Patch on top.
But it is, I would say, almost exactly the hex code papaya, right? Makes no sense whatsoever. You've got Alpine, that we'll talk about their livery in a second. They've taken the McLaren livery and just put it on an Alpine.
Yeah.
Max
Still
Verstappen
waiting for that
all
pink
of a sudden
camo, by the way.
Likes orange. And then McLaren are arguably the least orange this weekend. And they're the orange team. I don't understand where that's come from.
How have we seen 2 special edition Alpine liveries?
Yeah.
And we've still not seen that pink camo one that they teased at the start of the year. We've seen
a
Deadpool one.
on the pink camo.
We've seen a McLaren inspired one, and we're still waiting. Like, you've got nothing to lose, lads, at this point. Your car is as equally as bad as the steak. So cover it in all the paint, add some kilos to it, and just give the fans what they want after you cock-teased everybody at the start of the year.
Not even as if, like, I could go, oh, they're obviously waiting to unveil it at this Grand Prix, because that makes sense for camo. I mean, left to come this year, Mexico, Brazil, Vegas, Qatar, and Abu Dhabi. I tell you which countries don't love...
cartels in Mexico for the camo.
Well, I don't feel like Qatar or Abu Dhabi are probably super on board with loud pink as an option. Just with the way they go about things.
Yeah.
Vegas, I don't think camo makes you blend in particularly in Vegas. It's not necessarily known for being... Oh, they could blend in with the Sphere, possibly.
True. There's a bit of low-hanging fruit in Vegas to take inspiration from, isn't there? With slot machines and Elvises and stuff like that. So, pink
not
camo
so much
probably
pink
isn't
camo.
the one.
No. Just do it, lads. Put the pink camo on the bastard car, right? We want to see it. We all decided it looked great in your 3 poly renders.
Yeah.
Put it on the car. Do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
Simple.
None of this copycat bullshit. I don't care about Indiana Jones. I want Indiana camo. Stick him in. Stick him in the car.
Alex said so do it.
Lock it in. What I will say about the Alpine livery, I don't know what it actually looks like. Because they've done the worst livery reveal of all time.
Yeah.
that they've put out a video. It's a very jazzy video, okay, whatever. But at no point in the video, and sports teams do this all the time when they launch new kits, and they do jazzy coloured lighting and smoke and this, that, and the other, but they never actually just do a white light, oh, and by the way, here's what it is and here's what colour it is. The only pictures that we've seen so far, and the marketing material, there's smoke and these orange, like, high beam lights shining on it. It might be a white car, and it might have been orange lights. I don't actually know, because they've not shown us the car itself, but I think it's just a copycat of the McLaren.
My first thought when I saw the first render of it, I was like, oh, that McLaren looks smart.
Yeah. They've put a bit of texture in the McLaren.
Yeah, and I didn't bother reading what account had posted it, so I kind of flicked through the photos and then got to the rear wing and saw Alpine on the back, and I went, oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
That's not
Do you
a
look at
McLaren
it and
then.
think, oh, Indiana Jones?
No.
Correct. It's the
No.
correct answer.
Yeah. Is that what
Weird.
it's meant to be, is it?
It's a tie-in with Indiana Jones and Xbox. Yeah.
But they're
Don't question
green.
it. Yeah.
Well, I think,
Yeah.
anyway, last time I checked.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Indiana Jones, I mean, well, that's just
Famously
khaki.
orange.
Beige.
Famously orange. Indiana Jones is camo. You could have rolled it out this weekend. Cheesy peeps.
Boys.
Haas have done it slightly better.
Ooh,
the
I
Haas
like this.
livery's quite cool.
Yeah.
You know, that's about it.
Bald
It's
eagle.
largely the same Haas one. It's just stuck an eagle on the side of it.
Yeah, but it's
that's
got
American.
stars and it's got stripes and it's blue and it's white and it's red and the Americans are going to love it. Well, they won't
They've
because
gone
it's still awful.
real,
but,
like, American airport gift shop on the livery, right?
But
I
it's
love
their, it's their play, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's their play, and I like it. I like the fact that it's a bit homegrown. I like the fact that it's kind of an attempt to transfer some non-Haas fans back to Haas fans, and I think they've done it well. They've took it on board.
Yeah.
It'd be a bit like, it would be quite very similar to a McLaren turning up at Silverstone with like a scone and a saucer of tea or something on the side of the car. It's a similar kind of attempt at nostalgia, and I like it.
You know what we don't see much anymore? And I don't know if
Scones.
we ever really saw them massively. There was obviously like a Star Wars Red Bull livery and stuff. And yeah, okay, the Deadpool one, but it was... Liveries are trying to be too cool when they do one-off liveries. What's wrong with a novelty livery, right? Like, what's wrong with going a bit funnier with... Or just... Give me a livery that is a little bit taking the piss of itself. Like you say there with like tea and scones. Give me a collage of tea and scones pictures on a car and really lean into it, right?
So like if you gave a 7-year-old access to like a Forza design kind of simulator type thing, and they just stick it up the Ford Fiesta that they won from completing a championship the week before.
2009, Black Ops 2, Icon and the plate thing designer.
Yeah.
But on an F1 car.
Okay.
And let 2009 era Black Ops 2 players make it. There's going to be dick butts. We know there are. But that's half the fun of the game, is finding the dick butts, right? And getting around the moderation filters.
Not going to happen, but I admire... I like where your brain's going. McLaren have done one.
They have
And finally, they have actually got chrome. And Oscar, in his announcement, did highlight the fact that there is chrome on there, which is good. I was left a little bit underwhelmed, you know?
Yep.
Because
that's the correct answer.
One of the most iconic McLaren Formula One cars of all time was almost complete chrome with a couple of orange stripes on it to satisfy the need of Vodafone. And what they could have done is they could have really tossed off like Google Chrome here. They could have given them the full beans, and they could have gone, well, yeah, but actually all the Formula One fans would have known, oh, it's a throwback, because this is really cool. Whereas what they've done here is they've kind of gone, well, we'll stick with what we've got and we'll just stick a bit of chrome on it so that Google can kind of feel a bit appeased and we'll make them feel like we love them. Just go all in, lads. Just do the whole thing.
What's a shame for me, and again, I know it's hyping up, and I've come from that side of the curtain where the marketing team have really cool ideas for teasers and it doesn't necessarily always align with the reality. But they put out that really cool CGI render animation thing of like some quite liquidy chrome sort of swirling around.
Yeah.
And in that, it had sort of highlights of colours and stuff in the chrome, almost like you were mixing paint, right? Cover the whole car in that. Give me a chrome car that has these little like of papaya and whatever the 4 Google Chrome colours are, the green, yellow, blue, and the red. You know, like, give me that almost rainbow chrome chromatic effect car all over. Go all out. But of the 3 special edition liveries, it's probably the best overall. Haas is obviously quite simple. The Eagle is cool. But as a whole car, there's more going on the McLaren.
No, the Haas is something special.
Take the Eagle off the Haas, though. What else have they done? It's only on the side pod.
Take the chrome off the McLaren.
But the McLaren chrome is on the wing, the side pod, the top, the halo,
Take it off.
No, but there's only one little eagle on the Haas. If I had a rear wing eagle.
It's a big eagle.
That's because F1 cars are big. Give me a front. Give me the whole front. Like, give me the nose cone as an eagle head, right? So when they show the rear view mirror for P19 and in P20, there's a fucking eagle going, Yaka! That's what I want from me eagle livery.
Give me that. What? You missed out on Formula One back in the good old days. Because you're just throwing me back to the old Jordans when they used to have, when they were sponsored, first of all, they started with like a shark nose on the front. And it was like an actual face of a shark on the nose cone of the car. And then they were sponsored by Benson Hedges, I think, obviously one of the cigarette companies. And I think their logo was like a hornet. So they ended up with like a hornet's face on the front of the car as well.
Good business.
Yeah, you've missed out.
Yep.
You've missed out.
I'm all over that.
Probably would have been those really kind of garbage novelty liveries for you back in the day as well, because
F1's too cool now. F1 is now too cool, is what I'm saying. That's my point for this weekend.
Yep.
Right. To finish off, I have a gripe. I have a major gripe, and I'm upset because I found out that Danica Patrick is on the Sky F1 broadcast commentary team for this weekend, and that's not something I needed for my weekend.
No, she lost. Well, to be fair, I think Jensen Button's been trying to highlight the fact that she's awful for a long time.
Jensen Button, I need a montage of Jensen Button facial expressions while Danica Patrick is talking, because the bloke can't restrain himself.
So he's really tried. I honestly thought the final, well, it's not even a straw that would have broken the camel back. It was the whole lumberyard that went on the poor old camel.
Yeah.
When she appeared on the podcast and started talking about lizard people. And I thought at that point there, because the thing is, like, people can make mistakes, right? You can be caught like stumbling back from a nightclub at 4:00 in the morning, and you've got like half a kebab like down the front of your shirt, and you can go, look, sorry, I shouldn't have done it. I got a bit carried away. The point you go sit on a podcast for what was probably an hour, and recite these various quotes, which I think you're going to share with us in a moment.
I've got some lizard people content.
That's not a mistake, is it?
No, it's not. It's not. Would you like some Danica Patrick lizard people content?
Well, I wouldn't, but I think the audience would.
What I'll say is, a little bit of citation needed. I can't bring myself to watch the podcast itself. I'm relying on someone here who has provided a bit of a summary, a bit of a show notes for her appearance on this podcast, right? Let's just start it off with, reptilians invented money to control us.
Right.
There you go. That's where we're starting. And that the reptilians are not okay with the shifting of the energies, because from 2024 to 2028, we're going to see the uprising of the new Earth frequency. Now, I pose to you, Dan Jads, that Franco Colapinto might be the uprising of the new Earth frequency. It might be the uprising of the new Earth Franco, right? And that's been unearthed this year. And the next 4 years now, right? It's Colo time. Possible.
Does that mean he's a lizard, though?
Well, apparently, according to Danica, many celebrities and politicians are lizards, including Adele and Justin Bieber.
Well, to be
fair, I know we've all seen Justin Bieber's lizard, but that doesn't mean he is a lizard.
I mean, based on what we've had in the news over the last couple of months with regards to some various high-profile celebrities, I think one of the least shocking things would be if they were lizards, and would probably be one of the few things that the general public would turn around and go, "Oh, that's all right, actually." To be fair, because you're not P Diddy, so like if Kanye turned out to be a lizard, or 50 Cent, they'd probably go, still back him.
I actually think Danica Patrick's onto something with the lizard people thing, though.
Oh, right, go on.
Right.
You need to show your workings on this as well.
Take a really, just look at Helmut Marko, right?
Oh,
and just watch him for a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And tell me the bloke is not a reptilian.
Well, I think he's probably an 81-year-old man.
Oh, mate, reptiles have been around for longer than we have.
Well, no, I know that. Like, I've watched documentaries. I remember Steve Irwin and the Crocodile Hunter. He used to show all kinds of things. What a guy.
What a guy.
R.I.P. But yeah, Helmet's just a doddery old bloke that probably should have hung his boots up a few years ago and went off to the Austrian Alps and just enjoyed his retirement. I was nearly going to say go to Dignitas, but I think that's a bit harsh, isn't it? But
that is, yeah.
So
would you not be saying that Helmet Marko is part of the Galactic Federation that would believe that the planet belongs to humans, even though the reptilians were here before us?
Well, I think it's probably all bullshit, mate. So that is why I wouldn't slide towards that. Are you a lizard? Are you a lizard people?
Couldn't answer that question. But what I will say is that Danica Patrick believes that Atlantis is real and that humans haven't had this kind of power since before we inhabited Atlantis. Right. So not only does she think that Atlantis is real, but that humans inhabited it, not the reptilians. Yeah. But those reptilians are transmuting into the light because of the vibrations. Is
she a lizard people? Or is she kind of like what do you call it? Like an intermediary? Does she communicate with lizard people back to people?
Ooh. Your Simpsons knowledge is quite good, isn't it?
Fairly, yeah.
I'm thinking this is like a Kang and Kodos situation.
Oh, yeah, it could be.
Where she pulls off I think she might be Kodos. Basically, is what I'm saying, is that Danica Patrick is Kodos. That she can pull off the outer skin when she goes back up to the ship and, can go through there. What I'm going to say, the world's biggest downgrade on the broadcast is Bernie Collins to Danica Patrick. There is not a larger drop in quality from, Max Verstappen, Lance Stroll, right? Bernie Collins, Danica Patrick. Yeah. That's just how that goes.
Yeah, I mean, I think that probably just proves the fact that you don't necessarily have to sound massively enthusiastic about doing it. Because Bernie Collins, I never really get the impression that she's desperate to be there.
Oh, she's Irish, isn't she?
Yeah, but Danica, you kind of go, yeah, she chats shite, but she chats shite really, really kind of powerfully and really enthusiastically. Whereas Bernie just goes, well, here's the facts, here's the information, do with it what you want.
But at least Bernie is providing facts.
Oh, yeah,
yeah. That's helpful.
But we don't know if lizard people are real or not. And it could be an entirely factual podcast.
Yeah.
When would we ever find out?
Possible.
When would we find out?
Well, we would find out when quantum physics proves that we're in a simulation, because apparently the double slit experiment is the proof. Now, I thought the double slit experiment was banned by the FIA. That's an aerodynamics joke for us to finish on, and I'm really pleased with that one. That's for the people that got 32 minutes and 40 seconds into podcast, right?
Yeah.
You deserve that, because that's the best. That's the best sentence of this whole podcast,
you
right?
earned it.
And that's your treat for making it all the way to the end, because we are at the end.
Yeah.
Dan Jads, where can they find you on the internet?
Yeah, pretty much under that same name, at Dan Jads. I'll be in Sri Lanka next week, so if you want to go and see some photos in Sri Lanka, then that's a good place to go. How about yourself, sir?
You should do that. You can come watch me play games at Hey Look It's Alex on Twitch. I'm also at Alex Type That. I don't do a lot of other tweeting though, so I'm not particularly interesting.
Twitter's dead though, isn't it?
Oh, but Twitter is dead. But you know what's not dead? It's Lapdown Pod on pretty much all your other socials. You should go and watch our TikToks. You should go and watch our Insta Reels. Follow us on Insta, by the way, because Insta doesn't like discoverability. So you should go and follow us on there and hit like on those. And also go and hit like and maybe leave a comment on the YouTube Shorts for the sake of engagement. How about that?
Yes,
and if you want to send some slightly more intelligent things, or if you want to tell us about the lizard people and the vibrations, lapdownpod@gmail.com. You can send us any of your thoughts in there. We will be back at some point soon to talk about racist stuff. We've now got a triple header, Dan, of which two of them are sprint weekends as well.
Oh,
because why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you do that? So we've got, we're in Austin this weekend, and then we go to Mexico, and then we go to Brazil. Yeah. So plenty coming up to talk about, and maybe by then as well, we'll know who's going to drive next year.
Yeah, it's a good combo of tracks. It'll be it should be a good block of Formula One racing.
Yeah, we're three strong tracks back, aren't we?
Yeah, so that'll be good. That will be good. And I think sooner or later we probably need to think about putting these on video podcasts as well. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Get your tan first. Get your tan first, and then we'll show people the tan.
Cool. See you later.
Marvellous. Bye.